Hello, lovely first years. I hope you're all well and healthy and have been managing to get on with all of the work that you've been set by your various teachers. Um, I just wanted to say that I was really impressed with all of the work that you guys completed last week. This is a particularly tricky topic, the heat topic, and it's often an awful lot easier when we can do it in the classroom and you can see the experiments that we're doing and you can see the impact of heat and what it's doing. So well done to those of you who did manage to have a go at a couple of the little home experiments I'd set up for you last week. If you didn't, though, don't worry, as long as you've had a chance to maybe watch some of the YouTube videos or the other links that I've sent on to you that kind of explain what's happening in those experiments, it will help. Now, from your work on Friday, we were having a wee look at convection. Everybody did really well, actually. I'm very impressed. But I wanted to take the chance today just to have a very quick recap on it. There's a couple of reasons for this. So, some people are still a little bit confused with some of the terms that you're using. And there's also a few people who are getting a little bit behind. They've maybe had taken an extra couple of days to get access to Google Classroom and figure out how things are working. So I want to give them a wee chance to get caught up by giving you something that shouldn't take you too long today to go through. So we're going to go through a quick recap on convection and what we're talking about, and then I'm going to set you a particular challenge. So about convection, what we need to know is what it is. You need to be able to tell me the different states of matter that convection occurs in, and you need to be able to explain why convection happens using the words particles and density. So, as you might remember from last week, convection will happen in either gases or in liquids. Now, it's a little bit harder to demonstrate in gases, so we're going to focus today on convection in liquids and particularly in water. So this is the experiment that I showed you on Friday. I'm just going to make sure we've had a chance to look at it properly today and I'll talk you through it. So what's happening in this experiment is we've got a purple crystal has been dropped into the water, and when we heat up the beaker underneath the purple crystal, they are going to start to dissolve. And the heat energy is going to be conducted. Remember, we looked at conduction, heat moving through a solid through the glass bottom of the beaker, and that will start to heat the water. So when the water particles that are being heated, they are given more energy, and that makes them less dense, and they're going to start moving upwards. And the cooler part of the water is going to start to sink down the way. So when the hot water reaches the top of the beaker, it is pushed sideways by more hot water moving up. So we've got this push of hot water particles all being moved up. And when this hot water gets here, it doesn't have quite enough energy to turn into a gas and evaporate out, so it goes sideways through the water. And when it does that, what it does is it transfers some energy to the colder water particles that are around it. So these bits that were up here were nice and cool, they were quite far away from our heat source, and these warmer particles have moved up and they started passing on some energy to the cooler ones that are up here. Now, because they're passing on their energy, they're losing some. So when they start losing some of the energy, they start sinking back down again. And so they start moving around in this pattern, and that's called a convection current. And that's moving the heat energy as well as our potassium permanganate, which is the purple dye we've put in, and that helps us see basically what the current is looking like. Our particles are going to move all the way around as they are given some heat, and that causes them to rise, and then as they pass on that heat energy to the other particles, they start to sink again, and so on as they move around the water. So your challenge then is what we call a Nando's Chili Challenge. Very appropriate because we're looking at the heat topic. So the other document that I've put on Google Classroom for you, you'll see when you open that one up, there are 4 pages. Now you do not need to do all 4 pages. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You don't need to do all 4 pages. You just need to pick one of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick which level of hotness that you want to try today. So if you are still a bit confused and you think this is a bit challenging for you, then hit our extra mild challenge. And that's where you have the first letter of the missing words and a word bank to help you try and complete the sentences explaining what's happening in convection in liquids. If you fancy something a little bit spicier, you can go with our mild version. So you still have the blank spaces, you still have the sentences, and you've got the word bank to help you. You just don't have the first letter of the missing word. If you think that one's a bit too simple, you can move on to something a bit hotter. You've got blank spaces, but no word bank, so you need to try and come up with the keywords on your own. And finally, if you fancy a huge challenge, you've got one which is completely blank. You've got the word bank, but you need to write the rest of the sentences in yourself. So you can pick which one of those you would like to do. So when you return your document back to me on Google Classroom, when it's handed in, I should only see one of those pages filled in. Or if you're struggling with the Google Classroom aspect of it, just do it in your jotter and take a picture. That's absolutely fine. Although if you're still struggling with Google Classroom, it is worth having a wee look on our Kinross High School webpage. Have a wee look at the tab which says Virtual School, and we've been putting some videos and tutorials and other suggestions up there for anything that you might be finding a wee bit difficult. Taking photos and stuff, it's absolutely fine. It's not a problem for us to be able to mark it. It's just if it makes it a wee bit easier for you rather than rewriting all of the words out again. So you've got those 4 options. Pick one of them, try and complete it, and send it back to me, and I'll have a wee look later today. So hope you're all well, hope you're all healthy and staying indoors, and keep working hard. We're all super impressed.